Okay guys, I'm going to do a couple examples with you to help you out. Sorry if this is a little bit shaky, but I totally built something to try to record this. So here we go. We're gonna try number one. The trinomial does not have a GCF. The lead coefficient is greater than 1. So in this case, we're gonna have two binomials where you have a lead coefficient that is different than 1. So in these first two spots, we're looking for two things that'll multiply to give you 7m squared. Two things that'll multiply to give you 7 are 7 and 1. Two things that'll multiply to give you m squared are m and m. In the back, we have a -1. So the only two things to multiply to give you -1 are 1 and +1. Sorry, -1 and +1. How do I know where to put the -1 and where to put the +1? I don't. That's why I need to check. This inner is -1m. This outer is +7m. And together, that makes up +6m. So I did it right. If it didn't work, I would just have to switch the negative and the positive. All right, we're gonna do number 5. Again, I have no GCF. 5 does not factor out of all of this. So this is greater than 1. So we're gonna have two binomials with a lead coefficient different than 1. Two values that multiply to give you 5x squared. Well, 5 and 1 multiply to give you 5. X and x multiply to give you x squared. For the back terms, two numbers that multiply to give you 81. I'm gonna guess 9 and 9, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna have to try again. So if I do 9 and 9, and one's gotta be negative and one's gotta be positive. -9 times +9 is -81. So I'm just gonna do that and that. If I'm wrong, I'll just have to switch it. How do I know if I'm wrong? I check the inner is 9x. I check the outer is -45x. And look at that, I add them together, it does equal -36. If it didn't, I'd have to switch these two. If it still didn't work, if I ended up with +36, then that's all I would have had to do is switch it, and then I would end up with -36. But if I end up with a number that's not 36, then that means my 9 and my 9 were wrong, and I would have to try something else. You go ahead and try number 5, put it on pause, and then unpause it to check and see if you're right. Again, we have two binomials, two numbers that multiply to give me 3n squared is 3n and n. Two numbers that multiply to give me 20, it could be 2 and 10. It could be 1 and 20. It could be 5 and 4. It could be, that's it. So I'm gonna go with 2 and 10. How do I know that? Because I've been doing this for 22 years. If I was wrong, if it was 4 and 5, I'd have to switch it. But right now I'm trying those two numbers. And then I'm also going to, since this is a -20, this is either plus and plus to give me a -20, +10 times +2 would be 20, or it's going to be a -10 times -2 gives me +20. How do I know that? Because the inner is -10n, the outer is -6n, and I check to make sure those add up to be the middle term. I'm getting them all right on the first try because I've been doing this for years. But if you're not getting the right answer, you're gonna have to try again. You'll have to try two different values. This is called the guess and check method. If you look online, there are things called the box method, which gives you a different way, or split the middle. But I'm telling you, I would like you to try them first using this method. Don't get too hung up on it. If you can't find the values, then, skip on to the next one and come back to it. Try all the different combinations. This is the guess and check method because you're gonna do it the first time and it's not gonna be right. You guessed, you checked, it wasn't right, try a different combination. If the sign is off, all you need to do is switch the signs. If the number is off, if I add it together and I don't even get 36, positive or negative, that means the numbers were different. If I add them together and I didn't get 16, then the numbers are different. I wouldn't use 10 and 2. I'd use 5 and 4. And maybe if it was 5 and 4, but I'd have to switch it. Maybe the 5 goes here and the 4 goes here. So sometimes you'll have to switch them. You'll have to try all the different combinations. Again, I'm doing them right on the first time to show you that when I check it, it works. But you may not get it right on the first try or the second try or the third try. Persevere, guys.